Hello class, how you doing? My name is Imueyii, KC, your computer science teacher. You know I have missed you a lot, and then thank God for this opportunity to talk to you again. This is JS3 class, and I will be looking at computer revision class for the JS3 students. The components of the computer system. Components of computer system is what we'll be looking at today. Now we know what components are. The computer system is made up of different parts. Okay, so that's what we call the components. For you to have a complete and a full system, there have to be different parts that will come together to ensure that it is a complete system. That's why it's called a system. The system is made up of different parts coming together to make it function to achieve a particular purpose. Okay, so on that note, we'll be looking at the components. Now, there are three basic components that makes up the computer system. One is the hardware, the second one is the software, and the third one is what we call peopleware. Now, what will come? And then the peopleware can also be called the humanware or the userware. Okay, when we come back to peopleware, we'll explain them and understand what it actually means. Now, hardware are simply those physical components or those physical parts that makes up the computer system. Those parts that can be felt, that can be seen, and then can be touched. They are seen as what? The hardware. They are hardware because you can have direct access to them. You can touch them. You know what it means to touch. You know what it means to feel. Okay, I know what it means to see. Those are what we call the hardware component of the computer system. Now, the hardware component of the computer system is broken down basically into two parts. The two parts are here on the board. We have the peripheral devices, and we have the system unit. These are the basic hardware parts that makes up the component of the hardware, which is a part of the computer system. Now, peripheral devices are those devices. Of course, they are hardware. We know them. We can touch them. We can feel them. We can see them. They are those hardware devices that are not part of the system unit. They are external to the system unit. Now, what I mean by system unit, I'll be explaining both alongside. What I mean by system unit is this. Now, this is the system unit of the computer system. Okay, in the system unit, we have the casing, we have other parts that makes up the system unit. This is actually what we call the main computer itself. Okay, so this is the system unit. Now, behind the system unit, you will see what we call ports. What we call ports, or we call them connectors. Now, these ports, these connectors, helps us or helps someone to connect the peripheral devices to the system unit. Of course, every single system unit has a port, and then there are what we call plugs. All right, these plugs, for instance, this is a plug. Okay, it's a cable connected to the keyboard. Now, this is a typical example of what we call a peripheral device. Of course, you will see with me that it is not part of the system unit. Rather, it is attached. So, peripheral devices are hardware parts of the computer system that are attached to the system unit to enhance the performance of the computer system. Okay, it is attached to it to do what? To enhance the performance of the computer system and also to expand its capabilities. That's what the peripheral devices are. So typical examples of peripheral devices are the keyboard. Of course, it's going to be connected. And then the mouse is also another peripheral device. It is not part of the system unit. Rather, it is connected to it because there is a head, okay, a plug that can be connected to a port. of the system unit. We have so many of these devices. We still have the monitor that has a cable that can be connected to this particular system unit. We have lots and lots of them. There is a port also for what we call a USB, a universal serial bus. Universal serial bus, okay, it's also another example. For instance, if you look at this chip here, this is a microchip that is used for internet connection. It is also an external device, which is a peripheral device. It is a hardware that expands the capabilities of the system. It enables the system to have access to the internet. I hope you're following me right there. You have to pay attention and follow, all right? Now, that is the peripheral device. Now, the system unit, I said earlier, is the main component of the hardware. It is the main part of the hardware. Why is it the main part? If you look at my case in here, now this is my system unit. There is what we call a motherboard in this system unit. Now this motherboard, as the name entails, houses every other component that is going to be on this system. It houses all the components. On this motherboard, you will find the processor. On this motherboard, you can see different cables here. These are different channels, different pathways that comes from the power supply, and it runs to all other parts of the system. Okay, from the power supply, we will have cables that runs to the hard disk of the computer. From the power supply, we have a cable that runs to the floppy disk drive, to the CD-ROM drive. Okay, so they are all housed on this particular motherboard. Are you following? Now, on this motherboard, we also have what we call the RAM. The RAM is the storage of the computer system. Of course, the RAM is the temporary storage. It is temporary because it is not a permanent place where information is stored for a long time. Now, we use the RAM to store information while working on the system temporarily. Now, the RAM is said to be volatile. Now, what does it mean? It means that while working on your system, if there is power shortage or there is power outage, what happens is that the whole work you were working on, as long as you did not save it to a permanent storage device, for instance, like the hard disk, the system, the entire work you have done will be erased. So that's why it is said to be what? Volatile. So now there is the RAM also. Let me bring it out so you see how it looks like. So sometimes we shouldn't get confused if a RAM is software. This is the RAM. Okay, this is how the RAM looks like. There are RAMs of different sizes. We have 256, we have 1 gig, we have 2 gig, and so on and so forth as the case may be. Okay, now this is the RAM. Now, funnily enough, there is what we call the battery that sustains the time of the system. Okay. Now there's also the battery in here. I don't know if you can see it clearly. Okay, so that's the battery. That's called a CMOS battery. You can call it a CMOS battery or a lithium battery. Okay, so it's called a CMOS battery. Or we can also call it lithium battery. So you can call it any of the names, lithium or CMOS. Now, there is the motherboard here. If you see this pink, there is a floater that holds every of the components together, so that every component or every part of the system unit is embedded on the motherboard. And then there is what we call the casing. The casing is a protective shelter that helps to protect the motherboard from damage. I don't know if you're following. Okay, so this is the main computer, which is called the system unit. And then we have the peripheral devices that can be attached to this. Of course, you know, or we all understand that there is no how we can use a computer system without the peripheral devices. There is no how we can key in instructions or data into the computer without the keyboard. There is no way we can give commands to the computer without the mouse. And there is no way we will see the output of the work we are doing without a monitor. Another example of peripheral device is a printer. The printer helps us to get what? The hard copy format of our output. I don't know if you're following. So there are lots and lots of them. At the end of this class, assignment will be given to you on the e-learning portal where you will have access to the questions and you will also answer them. Are you with me? Okay. Now that is for the hardware. Okay, we said that the hardware are physical components, physical parts. We can see them, like you've seen here. You can touch it and you can feel it. Okay, you can feel to check the degree of its hotness or its coldness. I hope you are okay with this. Okay, I guess you understand this, and I trust God you also understand this. Okay, now after the hardware, which we said are the physical components, there is another one that is called the software. Now the software part of the computer system are simply programs. They are programs that are written by computer programmers to direct the computer on what to do. They are programs that are written by experts to guide the hardware on how to function. Now, for the sake of this class, I will typically show you an example of what we call the software. Now, software can be seen but cannot be touched. They are simply instructions. They are series of codes. Okay, they are sets of codes that are put together to carry out a particular task. Of course, we know that programming is all about solving problems. So these programs are written to solve problems. Are you following? Now, the software can be divided into two. One is the system software. The second is the application software. The system software can also be called manufacturer's software. Can also be called what? Manufacturer's software. Now, why is it manufacturer's software? It is a manufacturer's software because it is the designer of the system, it is the producer of the system that understands how the hardware he has designed is. So it is the software that he produces, he designs, or he codes, he writes, that will direct the hardware on what to do. I don't even understand me. Let me take it again. I said the system software can also be called the manufacturer's software because it is the manufacturer who designs the hardware. So he is the same person that's going to write the software code that will drive this hardware, that will make the hardware to be compatible with his software that he has written. So he uses the software to control the system. Now, a typical example of that I wanted to tell us, or let me show us, is our phone. Okay, let me go to this. This is a phone, all right? Now, this phone has the hardware and it has the software parts. All right? Now, the software are simply the different programs, like you can see here. Okay, they are the different programs that are there on this particular phone. Without the software that is in this phone cannot be used, or it will be useless. Now, what makes a phone to be useful and effective are the programs installed in it. Now, this software, we said, are of two types: system software and application software. The system software is the system's designer software. The application software is the user's program. We call it the user's programs. Why is it user's programs? It is user's programs because it is what the users make use of to achieve particular tasks. It enables the users to solve problems. Now, let's understand that these computers were designed not to take away the job of a man, but to help to do what? To reduce his job. Now, there are lots of jobs that we want to do as individuals that manually will be very difficult. Okay? So, it is this application software, that is the user software, that helps individuals to solve these problems. Now, let me come back again to the system software, because there is no way we'll explain them without inter-switching or switching between them, so you get a better understanding of what I'm saying. Okay, now the system software, a typical example of a system software is what we call an operating system. An operating system is used by the manufacturer to do what? To control the entire hardware. The operating system is used by the designer of the computer to control the hardware. Okay, we have the operating system. There is also other programs that are called utility programs. Utility programs are extra programs that helps the computer to function effectively. Okay, typical example of a utility program is a system inbuilt antivirus program. Every system comes with an antivirus program that helps fight against the virus that comes into the computer system. I don't know if you're following. Okay, so these are some of the examples of operating of the system software. Now, coming to the application software, there are lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. Okay? For the application software, I have said that it is a software that is used by individuals to carry out particular jobs, to solve specific problems. Okay, now that is what we call application software. One typical example of an application software is what we call Microsoft Office Suite. It's called what? Microsoft Office Suite. The Microsoft Office Suite is a combination or a collection of different Microsoft programs. Example is Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is an example of an application software. Microsoft Excel is also an example of an application software. We have Microsoft database system is also an application software. There are a whole lot of them. Even Microsoft Paint that is used to do simple designs is also another example of what? Of an application software. Of course, Microsoft Word is used for basically typing, okay, for creating of documents and so on and so forth, creating of memos, letters. Most of the letters that you receive most times is done using what? The Microsoft Word. Now, the Microsoft Excel is used basically for whatever that has to do with calculations. A typical example of the usage of Microsoft Excel is what we call a payroll system. A payroll system is a system that is used to pay salaries. Okay, so it is calculated using a Microsoft Excel. And then we have Microsoft Database. Hello, are you following? We have Microsoft Database, and Microsoft Database helps individuals to set up a database. A database is a collection of related information. For instance now, like the school, okay, Sleek Angels International School, we have a database, we have an electronic database. Now this electronic database contains the details of all our students, including that of your parents. The phone numbers, your house address, we have those records with us, okay, in electronic format. Now, we said it's a collection of related. We cannot compare the information that staff provide and what students provide as to be related. The information staff will provide will be related to their job experience, where the schools they have attended, the kind of experiences they have, and their skills, qualifications, and all that. Okay, that is, or those are some of the information that will be required from the staff of an organization. But as students, from JSS1 to SS3, you are going to provide just one kind of information while you want to gain admission into the school. I don't know if you're following. So it is said to be related because what a student in JSS1 provides as information is the same kind of information that a student in SS3 will provide. So it is said to be what? Related. Are you following? Am I too fast? Okay, let me slow down. It is said to be what? Related. It's said to be related. Now, after the software, which we said enables us to, okay, which we said that is a system software and there's an application software which helps to run the system. These two on its own is useless without someone that is using it. Now the last on the components of the computer system is the peopleware. Peopleware are the users. Okay, they are those people that makes use of, they are those people that make use of the software and the hardware. Remember that the software is what drives the hardware. Okay, so it is the user or the users of the computer that enables or ensures that this computer as it is effectively or efficiently made use of. Okay, so the peopleware are divided into two major parts or two types. We have the computer professionals and we have the end users. Computer professionals are those people who have undergone training in an institution of learning and are certified. All those who have undergone training in a computing institution and are given certificates of competency, they are known as computer professionals. Now, some examples of computer professionals would include a computer scientist, also a computer programmer. You can also have a network administrator, a database administrator, the computer operators. Okay, there are people who also call data entry clerks. All right, they are the people that fall under computer professionals. They are professionals because they have different understanding of the computer from the users. They have different skill, they have been trained, okay, they are skillful with regards the use of the computer. They do not only use it, but they are directly involved in the industry of computer system. For instance, the computer engineers, they design computers. Okay, they design it. So the man who manufactures a computer is the same man who builds it. That man falls under a computer professional because he understands the architecture of the computer, the hardware, and then he is also that same person that will write what we call the system software. All right? So he is a professional that has been trained. He has skill with regards to this field of IT. So that's an example of a computer professional. Another person that is an example of a computer professional is a network administrator. A computer network administrator. Now, what is the job function of this particular professional? His job function is to set up networks to ensure that computers are interlinked and they can share information from one system to another. A network is simply the interconnection of two or more computers for the purpose of sharing information and resources. Of course, we understand that computer resources are expensive. Resources could be like a printer. That is one example of what we call computer resources. Okay, a printer is an example. Now, in a computer laboratory where we have over 60 computers. Now, let's look at if a printer is worth 40,000, as cheap as that is. Okay, so we say a printer is 40,000 naira. If you do not network your systems, your computer that are 60, and you do not network it so that they can have access to the printer. Now, what will happen is this. You will have to buy one printer per system. So one printer per system, okay? that would be very expensive. So you have 60 computers, you're going to have 60 printers. A printer is 40,000. So if you multiply 40,000 by 60 computers in that computer laboratory, you know the amount you're going to be spending. So a network administrator now comes in to set up these computers such that they can all have link, or they can all share a particular printer in that computer laboratory, so as to be what, cost effective. Nobody will set up an investment, an establishment, and want to run loss. So you have a printer connected to 60 computers. They all share the resources, they all have access to it. Now that's one advantage of the network. Another advantage of the network is this: you can share what we call the memory. If, for instance, computer A's hard disk drive, which is a storage device, is filled up, it's filled to capacity such that you cannot store on that particular storage device anymore. Now, because you are in a network, you can store your folder or your file on system C or system D and still have access to it, because there is a shared folder where everyone can have access to. I can install a particular program on a particular system, and all other systems will have access to it. So that is what a network does. And this is handled by what? By who? A network administrator. That man is a computer professional because he has been trained, he is skillful. Everybody cannot network systems, cannot connect systems to have access to each other. So someone who has undergone training is a professional and is also certified. Those network administrators, they write professional exams and they are given professional certifications to show that they are actually what? Professionals. So it falls under computer professionals. Another example of a computer professional is a database administrator. It's someone who builds and designs a database. Okay, now, typical example is, let's look at an organization where a staff is no longer an employee of that organization. Okay, it is the duty of the database administrator to do what? To delete that particular record of that staff. So basically, it is the duty of a database administrator to update a database regularly to ensure that it is up to date. Somebody that has left an organization is removed. A new employee is employed into an organization, and the details of that person is also recorded. So there are lots and lots of computer professionals when it comes to people which are the users of the computer. And then finally are the end users. The end users of the computer system are those people who are not trained, those people who are not skillful, those people who are not certified. They are the end users of this, the products from the computer professionals. Like a programmer, for instance, designs programs to solve problems. All right? Now, it is the end users who will use that product to solve his or her problem. Like we talked about the payroll program, we talked about the Microsoft Word to create documents, and the rest of the programs. Even the database software can also be used by an end user because it is designed by a professional and then is handed over to a trained end user. Of course, at all levels of a user of a computer product, you must have a basic knowledge on how to use it. Okay, so that's the major difference between the computer professionals and the end users. End users are the customers. They are the people that ensure that these products are utilized to solve problems. I hope you understand from what we have said. So, what we have looked at today basically is the components of computer system. There are three major components that makes up the computer as a whole. We have seen that the hardware, the software, and then the peopleware. And we have seen the various subtopics that makes up this particular topic. We've done this before, it's just a revision. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to give you an assignment which you are going to do and submit to me either through my WhatsApp phone number or my email address. Your assignment is here on the board. I have asked you from what we have learned so far that you explain the duties of 10 computer professionals. Okay, so what that means is that you're going to search for 10 different computer professionals and state their duties, what they do. Okay, and then you are going to explain the usefulness of the computer peripheral devices. Are they useful? Okay, that's what we're going to look at. And then you're going to state the relationship between hardware, software, and peopleware. How do they relate? What is their relationship between them? Now, for me to have access to what you have done, you can use either of these. Okay, you can use my email address on the screen, on the board here, or you can also use my phone number. This is my WhatsApp phone number. Okay, my email address is akpobari.chrisimueyii@gmail.com. Okay, akpobari.chrisimueyii@gmail.com. My phone number is on the board, 0706-456-0387. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Have a nice time.